And welcome back to this, the 500th episode of Boom and Bust with the panel, the Honorable Joe Oliver, the Honorable Gary Marr. Joe, Gary was mentioning how the provinces and the federal government can engage with the U.S. states. Is that part of a successful strategy for us when it comes to the tariffs?
Yes, I think it is. I mean, look, one of the critical things that helped propel Donald Trump to the presidency was the unaffordability of life in the United States, the high inflation rate, and the fact that a lot of jobs weren't there for people to afford a decent life. And the fact is that 65% of the oil that the U.S. imports is from Canada. If prices of oil go up, aluminum, electricity, all our natural gas goes there. Steel, agricultural products. Um, Putting a tariff on that would raise the cost of living and inflation, and it would be resisted by the population. So he doesn't want that, and he's using maximum leverage to get what he wants, and to the extent it's in our national interest, we should give it to him. And some of the things may be tricky politically, like supply management, but overall, that would be good for the country. So at least let's give him what is good for us to do, and there's a lot that falls in that category, in my opinion.
I
Uh,
wanted to make a point
sure,
on
go ahead.
energy trade, if I could,
Sure.
to follow up on Joe, and that is we should be changing our messaging so that we're not just exporters of oil to the United States. We're exporters of jobs that come through a pipeline. So if you look at the oil that comes out of Alberta and goes into the U.S. Midwest, it goes into refineries in places like Lima, Ohio, and Detroit, Michigan. Our natural gas goes to the Gulf Coast where it gets liquefied and then resold, at market rates because we don't have the ability to get our energy to Tidewater ourselves. So we actually create jobs in the United States.
Mm.
They refine it and then they sell it. What they don't refine, they export as a raw commodity, but they up the price from Western Canada Select Price, which is at a discount from West Texas Intermediate, and sell it at a world price. And so that's one point. The second point on Joe's bit about tariffs on oil is that the estimates of how much gasoline will go up. Uh, I've seen estimates, depending on where you are in the United States, anywhere from 50 to 80 cents a gallon. If your average price of gasoline is $3 a gallon, and suddenly you're paying 50 to 80 cents more per gallon, that is definitely the opposite of what President Trump was promising to American voters during the presidential election.
Joe, we got about a minute and a half left. I'd love to get your thoughts. You mentioned Steve Pelosi, the former governor of the Bank of Canada, saying we're already in a recession. I saw the unemployment rate tick up to 6.8%. We've had a 50 basis point cut in interest rates. What are your thoughts on where Canada is economically right now?
Well, what former Governor Polas was emphasizing is that in the past 6 quarters, GDP per capita has declined, and I think 8 of the last 9 quarters it was down as well. So for the average Canadian, we are in a recession. In other words, their economic circumstances have deteriorated, and that's something which has been masked on global numbers because of the huge increase in immigration, which has created its own problems because it was basically sort of out of control. And the finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, sort of boasted about how our GDP was up without acknowledging that our GDP per capita was in fact down. And then, of course, it caused all sorts of other problems,
Right.
including pressure pressure on housing. So we have to deal with that critical issue of productivity and
Right.
understanding, of course, that now immigration is going, they say, down to zero
That's right.
temporarily.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're going to see a reversal of that. So we've got some significant
Sure.
economic problems.
Well, we'll, I'm sure, tackle some of these issues next month. But gentlemen, thank you for joining us today, this 500th episode.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all.